lately, Miss Slay,
Yes.
you have had you've had a good number of sellers who are not divorced, but are divorcing.
Yes, I have.
Go through the process of selling.
Yeah.
And recently, we won't tell anybody's last name, but you had two of them that had the exact same last name.
Yes.
In both cases, it seems like it is the wife who is driving the divorce. This is not a comment of that's good or bad. I'm just kind of setting things up. And so how do you make sure that when you're working with people who have opposing interests right then and now, they have the same interest to get the home sold, but sometimes the soon-to-be ex-husband would be like, well, no, I just rather this not happen because then we won't have to get a divorce. And so how do you make sure that you're protecting both of their interests along the way? That can't be easy.
It actually is easy.
It is?
It is, because I have some rules that I just live by in these situations.
Okay, well, now that makes sense. So
Yes.
Would it be easy for everybody?
No.
Okay.
I've worked with quite a few divorcing couples
Yeah.
in
And then
my
you
career.
learned.
And I learned. And I also went through a divorce. I sold a house and went through my own divorce. And I can remember some of the struggles that happened. So the first rule is you have to have empathy for everyone. Mm-hmm. Everyone's life is being displaced. And then another rule that I have is I expect everyone to be unreasonable. So I'm not surprised. I just, because it's not a reasonable time.
Do you think when they're being unreasonable, that they're sort of purposefully being unreasonable, meaning they know they're being unreasonable? Or do you think in many cases they're just trying to fight for their interest in the situation?
I don't find that most people are purposefully being unreasonable.
Okay.
I think
they think they're being reasonable.
I think they think they're being reasonable, and they're looking for control in a time where they have everything is out of control.
Wow. That makes sense.
Just sad.
Yeah.
And so I expect them to want very unreasonable control. Future and past bring so much security. When I know what I'm doing tomorrow, I'm secure in how I'm going to act tomorrow. I know where I'm going. I know what time I need to be there. I know what I need to wear. So when you think about that on an elementary level, how much security we have.
When you're right in the middle of unknown stew.
Right.
I mean, they're literally in a big pot of unknown stew.
They have no idea what their future is. They don't know what tomorrow brings. It's
so interesting.
They have no idea.
Because even if they're looking forward to having future relationships,
they don't know.
They probably don't even really know.
No, there's no security.
Yeah. In one case, they, let's just call him George. George, the soon-to-be ex-husband, wants to sell the house for more than the market says it is worth. And it's been listed a little while. It hasn't had the right showings. They talked to him about a price decrease. Mm-hmm. And he says, okay, I'll go down $5,000. And I think he thought that was a reasonable thing to do, even though that's probably not enough price difference for the market to notice. Why do you think he would even think that a $5,000 price change on, let's just call it a $775,000 house, why do you think he would think that would be enough?
Because other people do it. I mean, you can go on Zillow, and in your market, it's the same thing. Other people drop prices by $100.
Yeah.
They drop their price by $1,000. There's no point in dropping your price.
Yeah.
Right? There's no point in doing that when you're dropping it like that. But so many people do it.
I've seen agents drop $100 a week.
Right. It's dumb.
Yeah. I guess they think it's going to get it to the top of the searches.
No, it doesn't work that way. Legend has it, it works that way, right? The saying on the street is it works that way, but it doesn't work that way. And so I can appreciate him throwing that number out there.
At least he was willing to do something.
He's willing to do something.
Yeah.
And my job is just to educate him and give him the options and show him what the number is.
Yeah.
That is working.
And just keep trying to say, okay, here's what the market is saying, but if you want to do something different, let's do it.
So in a normal transaction where the couple is planning to move together. Right, to their next.
Keep using the same playbook.
Right, they keep using the same playbook.
Right.
Everything's going to look the same, and they're going to have the same cost together. And so their next house, they know, okay, I have a little bit less money I'm making on this one. When I talk price decreases, it typically is, okay, we're making a little bit less here, deal. So we're gonna have a little bit less on the other one. But that is between two people. Now, when we make a little bit less, it affects two households. Because
and their ability to buy their future.
Right. And we have now discussions of, because those two households are going to have two electric bills. They're going to have two mortgages, two insurances. So I recognize and can appreciate that the weight of $5,000 in one situation is very, very different in another.
Yeah, that makes totally good sense.